Hello and welcome to another Cataclysm tips and tricks video. In this video we will be going over arguably one of the most important mechanics in Cataclysm that needs to be discussed. Whether you're a new player or an advanced player, this is a very important thing to learn how to make use of, or be aware of, rather. Because everything in the game is kind of balanced with this system in mind. This is known as what I refer to as the action point system. So the action point system, if you look in the top right, you'll see stats that say speed and move. So the speed stat is how many action points your character gets every single quote unquote turn in the game. Because this is a turn-based game. In a sense. Not the most literal turn-based, but like what you'd expect out of a turn-based game. But this game works in turns. Nothing moves unless you do. So this speed stat up here, you can also view it up here in the Shift 2 menu, the character sheet menu. You can see speed up here and move cost. Now speed, this value, is how many action points you get to spend every turn. Move cost is how much you just spent on your last turn. So if I move around on here, you can see it's 100 move cost. Now what if I go over there and open this car door? 100, same speed. What if I stepped into the car? 250. 400. So getting in and out of this space, going from flat ground into the tile with the car door, actually costs, well, it actually costs 250 action points to go into. So to complete this turn, it takes 250 action points. What that means is because you spent 250 action points, you don't have that in one turn. You only have 100 points every turn. So what that means is basically you spent 3 turns, 2.5 turns worth of action points to do this action. Now what that means is you've basically been put into debt with your action points. And before you can take another turn, everything else in the game around you that's loaded in gets to take the same amount of action points worth of turns as well. So if you spend 400 movement points or action points moving onto this car seat, that means every other creature in the game also gets to spend 400 movement points or action points worth of they get to spend 400 action points before you get your next turn. Now, there are a lot of things that affect and change your speeds. Change your speed and how fast you are. So, for example, a really basic one is stamina. So, and sprinting. So I'll go over sprinting real quick. So if you press the hotkey to toggle sprinting, which is H by default, lowercase h. Toggle run right here, yeah. Toggle run. It will toggle your character from walking to running. What this does is, at the cost of stamina, it basically lets you move twice as fast. Now the problem is it drains your stamina. Now stamina, this meter here, has a direct impact on how much movement or action points you need to spend to take a turn. So if this was 50, now it's 51. And if we keep running and deplete our stamina, this keeps going up. And if we walk now, it takes almost double the amount of time to walk than it used to because we're a lot slower now. We're not slower in the sense that we have less speed. We're slower in the sense that it takes longer to do things. Additionally, if you wear stuff like encumbering pants, like if you wear these extra large Kevlar arming pants, you see it gave us 28 leg encumbrance, which actually makes our movement speed worse. If you see this value here, we have a reduced movement speed score because we're wearing heavily encumbering pants. And because we're encumbered, you can see here, this move cost number up here is a percentage, basically, of how much your movement point stuff costs. So right now we're 25 things are 25% more expensive, or actions take 25% more points than normal to do. So if we walk up here, it takes 125 points to walk normally when it only takes 100 with a character. If we run and burn our stamina up, you'll notice our stamina goes up a lot higher than it previously did. Now if we walk, our movement cost is 215 and going down as we recover stamina. Now there are ways you can change your speed. Mutations are a good example. So if you get like the mutation quick, you get 10% more action points. So what that means is you now have 10% more action points than you normally would. So you have 110 action points now. That's a pretty big deal. Some other ways you can make your character faster. Let's undo quick real quick. Let's see. Let's look at fleet-footed. So fleet-footed allows us to move quicker than normal on sure footing. We get a 15% speed bonus on sure footing. What that means is when we're on flat ground that isn't rough terrain, we get a 15% increase or a 15% decrease in how much it costs to move or take actions. Or rather, movement. It costs 15% less action points to move around. So now, walking normally is 85 movement instead of 100. Now, if you compound these together, (110) and 85, with quick and fleet-footed together, both working at the same time, you technically have 25 more action points, or you spend 25 less action points per turn than people normally would. So the equivalent would be 75 movement cost on a default speed character. So let's remove these mutations. Go back to normal. Let's spawn a monster real quick. Let's spawn a zombie, a normal zombie. Like that. I will spawn a weapon real quick. Let's get a combat now. So, if we press Shift V or capital V and we look at the zombie, if you see down here, it says it is slower than us. This zombie, if you look it up, a normal zombie has a speed of 70. So zombies have a speed of 70. As long as we have above 70 speed, he won't catch us. We are literally faster than he is by quite a bit, by a big margin. He can't catch us. Now, if we take mutations and we do fleet-footed, we are now much faster than him. As you can see, we're making an even bigger distance between him. Now let's take quick as well. So now we have quick. He's even slower compared to us. On the contrary, if he's way over there, if I step here, he's gonna get several turns worth of movement at once. If you see that, he moves several turns at once because I spent more. If you look up here, I spent more action points moving into here than I have in a single turn. So to make up for it, the game gives this zombie and all other creatures multiple turns in a row to balance us out. So there is another way to make a character even faster, but it's only usable in certain ways. So this is called Roadrunner. No, wait. Parkour's a... Hold on. Right. Parkour's a proficiency. So what Parkour Expert does... So if you look at Parkour Expert over here... Terrains like railings and counters, so things that are like... Things you can climb over, and the car inside the car included, take half as much movement points. So instead of taking 150, going into his corridor only takes 125 now. When going here would take normally 400, this now takes 200. So with these three traits, or fleet-footed, quick, and parkour, not only are we faster than the zombie on solid ground, but if we go into the car, we're even faster than he is. And without sprinting, we can go this far, and he's basically unable to catch up to us. Of course, this is a good example to show you as well. If you notice up here, I have some pain inflicted on my character. I'll let him hit me a few more times. Alright, that's good enough, zombie. You can leave me alone. So what this means now? Say I've been fighting a bit, and now I've taken some damage. I've received pain, and I've burned a bit of stamina from hitting zombies with melee attacks or running around. Now what this does is you have several things that change your speeds now. So we have 12 pain. This makes our action points. So what this does is this reduces our speed stat. Pain reduces your speed stat. We are 5 speed action points slower because of our pain level. And because of our stamina cost, our move cost is increased by 14%. So we're pretty slowed down because of our stamina. And our character speed is slowed down because of our pain stat. Now if your legs get heavily damaged, your leg damage, or damage to your legs, will also reduce your speed or movement cost. I forget which one, but it slows you down as well. Now, this also ties into combat. So if you look up here, this combat knife I spawned in has a move cost of 76. It costs 175 action points to wield, which means we're spending over almost 2 turns wielding it in our hands. Now, if we attack with it, it only costs us 76 move action points to attack with it, which means we can attack with it and back away with our remaining movement points and make distance without the zombie hitting us, usually. So the zombie's right next to us, we can melee the zombie, we missed, and we can back away, and he doesn't get a chance to attack us because he's got to move to keep up with us. Make distance again. Wait a turn. Attack. Back away. Like that. You can use your speed to your advantage in this way. See, we killed the zombie, and he didn't get to hit us because we used our speed to outpace him. Now, what this also means is, say we spawn another zombie. Now we can really push this to our advantage if we use our parkour expert to climb into the car at high speeds and then let the zombie come in after us. So the zombie here has to spend 400 movement or 250 movement points or something climbing into this car door. I think it's 400 for them. So they have to spend a lot of movement points to climb into this car door. And what this means is they are in basically debt now. And we get several free turns without them being able to attack. If we step back now, you see how the zombie had to move to keep up with us? She just spent 400 movement points to keep up with us. We now have 400 action points worth of free turns before she gets another one. Now, something I didn't explain was the combat knife has combat techniques, or has a combat technique. This combat technique is called Rapid Strike. Rapid Strike, when it activates, it's not guaranteed, but when Rapid Strike activates, you attack it basically half the action point cost for 66% of the normal damage. So you do less damage, but you attack it, half the cost. Now, as your stamina increases, if you look at the combat knife cost here, base moves per attack 82. I believe this goes up if you tire your character out. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, yeah, that doesn't affect your attack speed. But this, when you use this stuff, keep this stuff in mind. This allows you to know how easy you can outrun zombies or enemies chasing you. Now, there are enemies in this game that are faster than you are. For example, whoops, I didn't mean to spawn an NPC. The NPC is about, not that we can tell, the NPC doesn't tell us how fast we are. So let's spawn a monster. Let's see. How about like a woodland white? If you look at the woodland white right here, you can see it tells us it's much faster than us. It would outrun us and be able to catch up to us and kill us without us being able to get away from it. If the enemy says it is faster than us, that means its speed stat is higher than ours. And that means we should be wary that we can't outrun it if it sees us. Unless we smartly use parkour to our advantage. Because even if it's faster than us, we get a huge advantage when it comes to going over obstacles like inside of cars and through bushes and trees and over counters and tabletops, because we move over those things twice as fast as they would. So using obstacles to our advantage, we can climb over them faster than they could, which allows us to easily outmaneuver things you normally wouldn't be able to. Parkour is very strong. Now, something else I can bring up is there are several other ways you can speed up your character. Such as rollerblades and a pair of roller skates. So if we take off our shoes, now the roller skates are a worse version of the rollerblades. So if we look at the roller skates, if you notice, our move cost right now is 80. If you unequip the rollerblades, the roller skates, it's 101 at the moment. Because we're not wearing shoes. If you don't wear shoes, you do get a speed penalty. So we're at 85 with our normal shoes on. With the roller skates, we are at 80. With the roller blades, our speed is also 80. So roller blades are the same thing, I guess. But if you see here, inline skates, a 15% reduction in move cost. On top of what we already have. So now we are hurt and we are encumbered, so we are being slowed down because of it. Now these are poor fitting roller skates. Poor fitting means they give more encumbrance than they normally would. Now you can fix this by using what's it called? By using a repair kit to fix it. A repair kit, a soldering iron, tailor's kit, etc. And by repairing it, I believe you can refit it. Yeah. By repairing it, you can refit it so it fits better, which cuts the encumbrance value for it in half. So you move in faster if it fits you better. Now, while rollerblades are good, I do not advise using them unless you have the trait called Skater. Because if you don't have this trait called Skater, the cost for movement. Sorry, no. If you have the Skater trait, your dodge stat is not as heavily penalized wearing rollerblades. Because wearing rollerblades, you do have a penalty to your dodge stat. So avoid combat when possible when on rollerblades. Now in one of my videos I made of tutorial videos of playing the game, I believe I've kind of showed off a little bit of how to outpace zombies using, like in the city, outrunning them with smart movement. I think I've showed that off already. So I'm not going to do that again. But I will mention that keeping the action point system in mind will greatly help you know how to get your way around zombies without putting yourself in danger. Now, lastly, the one thing to keep in mind is, at all costs, do not burn your stamina down unless you have to. And if you have to fight and kill things in combat with melee weapons, watch your stamina. The lower it gets, the harder it will be to escape. Make sure you don't deplete this farther than you're able to run away. So, measure your fights and take them when you know you can get away without getting too much of your stamina burned away from lots of enemies. Same thing for your pain and your body damage. Do not take too much damage if you can help it, because the more damage you take, the slower you become. And all of a sudden, slow enemies that normally wouldn't catch you are not able to catch you because you are now slower because of the high pain stat. But all in all, that's basically a not quick summary of the action point system. I hope I explained it well enough. If something still isn't clear, ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to help explain it further, and probably pin the comment if it's helpful enough. But yeah, thank you for watching, and make sure to leave suggestions below of what maybe I should do a video on next. If you have any suggestions, I would greatly appreciate them. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.